Hello, my name's Kevin. I've been in the car business for over 20 years. And the biggest question a lot of people have is, do I buy or do I lease? And a lot of people really don't have the answer because normally when they go to a dealership, they feel like the sales consultant most likely is just trying to sell them on a payment. I'm just going to go over here on the chart what is a couple different options you have for a purchase and a lease. Now bear with me, there's no editing involved in this. So if I do mess up, you're gonna have to deal with it for a little bit. In my years in the car business, there's a couple things that customers don't really understand about leasing. Well, the first thing is they heard it was bad from somebody else. The second thing is nobody showed them how a lease actually works. And the other complaint is, I drive too much. So I'm not saying buying is better or leasing is better. I'm showing you from an outside point of view who's been inside the car business for a long period of time, your options. So the first thing, I'm gonna come over here. We're going to look at a $35,000 vehicle. Now, when you're looking at a $35,000 vehicle to purchase it, it's actually quite simple. You're going to take a loan out for $35,000 plus taxes, plus fees, and whatever amount of money you want to put down to get to a comfortable payment. And you're going to make payments on it until you have a zero balance. Quite simple. It's easy. Just take a loan out, pay for the whole entire thing. After you have a zero balance, you own the car free and clear. No more payments. The problem with that is a lot of people, to get to a comfortable payment, have to go to what we call in the car business an extended term. The average loan is right around 60 months. Now, to extend the term to get the payment lower, some people go for an extra year for 72 months. An average payment of $35,000 could be anywhere from $550 to $600 a month, depending on interest rate, the amount of money down. So we're just going to use this as an example. Now there's a lot of factors that can go into this. Now I'm just going to stop for a moment here and just talk about a couple things that can happen during your ownership. During your ownership, there is a warranty, and most warranties bumper to bumper are 3 years, 36,000 miles, or if you're in a more of a luxury line vehicle, that could go over to 4 years, 50,000 miles, or even a little bit more. Most powertrains are good for 5-year, 100,000 miles. And there's a reason for that. They can calculate it. They're smart. For an example, well, obviously they're smart. You're not going to put an investment or a guarantee on something you know that's going to break. So there's a reason why the warranties they're limited. Now during that course of ownership, things can happen. You drive too much. That's fine. You own the car. You get into an accident. Fine. You own the car. Call the insurance company. They'll fix the car for you. But those things also have a repercussion. So stepping away from the car side of things, let's talk about our money. Now our money, as far as hard-working individuals, blue-collar people, even white-collar people, we work hard for our money. It takes a long time to save it. So let's talk about investments. Now if I told you, I will sell you a $200,000 house and I will guarantee you that that $200,000 house in 3 years will be worth $180,000, would you buy it? Well, most likely not. And the reason why you won't buy it, it's not a good investment. You're losing money. So I ask you this as a consumer now, not as a customer, not someone who already bought, but you drive a brand new car off the lot, what happens to the value of the car? You probably said it goes down, and I agree with you. So you know right out of the gate, you're buying a $35,000 car, and as soon as you drive it off the lot and you turn it around, go right back, you want to trade it in, it's not worth $35,000 anymore. It just depreciated because it's used now. So if we look at things as an investment, is that an investment that you want to make? I'm not saying buying is bad. I'm just showing you your options. Now there's a couple different ways to buy cars. First, you can pay cash for the whole entire amount. The second way you can buy a car, and the best way to buy a car, is short term, a lot of money down, so you have a low payment. You can make payments on the vehicle faster, you may have a higher monthly payment, but in the end, you'll have it for a short period of time, you're not paying a whole lot of interest. The third other way you can buy a car, in my opinion, is a lease. And I'm going to go right into that right now. A lease, they're going to talk to you about two separate things. The first thing they're going to ask you is term. How long do you want the lease for? The second thing is miles. So by answering these two questions, the companies can forecast the future value of the car, and they will guarantee it. So let's use some hypothetical numbers here just to prove our point. Say you wanted the vehicle for only 3 years. And based on how many miles you drive per month, on average, say you drive 12,000 miles a year. So have 36,000 miles on it. So your company will sit there and say, the $35,000 vehicle in 3 years, 12,000 miles, they're going to guarantee the future value of the car. And let's just say for argument's sake, it's $19,841, and let's just say 12 cents just to throw some spunk on it, right? And they draw a line here. So they're guaranteeing that this vehicle in 3 years, 36,000 miles will be worth $19,841, and they're going to guarantee that. It's a closed-end lease. So like a purchase where you make payments on the whole car, on the lease, you make payments on the part of the car you're already using, which is good because you're using the best parts of the car. You're using the warranty, you're wearing the tires out, you're wearing the brakes out, the brake pads. You're using the most valuable part of the car, which is the first 3 years. What people don't know is you have options at the end of this lease, all based on this, the future value of the vehicle. You can turn the car in, you can buy the car and keep it, and what you don't know is dealerships have the ability to buy it from you and you can trade it in. And this is all based on this future value right here of $19,841. So let's talk about a couple things on a purchase and on a lease side that can depreciate the value of a vehicle. We did talk earlier about accidents, miles, stuff like that. And you may be a purchase candidate, you may be a lease candidate, but let's talk about all of those. So say you get into an accident in the vehicle. You go to trade it in and they run a Carfax report and it says the car's been into an accident. Would you buy a car that has been in an accident? You don't want to. You want to buy a good car, no accidents, one owner, and I don't blame you for that as far as pre-owned. But as far as new cars, that accident depreciates the future value of your vehicle. On the purchase side of that thing, an accident, who's responsible for that depreciation? Is it you or is it the bank? Hopefully you answered you, because it is your responsibility. You just depreciated the car faster. Miles, I drive too much for a lease. Well, let's think about the flip side of things. If you drive a lot, does it make your car worth more or does it make the car worth less? If you're trading in your car and your car has 20,000 miles on it and the other car has 80,000 miles on it, what car is worth more? The one with 20 or the one with 80? Well, 20. So it would be safe to say, and hopefully you all will agree with me, that the more you drive the vehicle, the faster you're depreciating it, right? So miles can play in a big factor. What you don't know about a lease is that you could buy miles up front. Most companies have 3 types of payments, or 3 types of miles. First is 10,000, 12, and some have 15,000. And you can buy, in some cases, up to over a certain percentage of the MSRP of the miles up front. Or some manufacturers will allow you to do 25 to 30 miles. There's some companies out there that will also reimburse you back the miles you don't use when you turn the car in. There's certain companies that you don't have to purchase those extra miles, like Acura, I know for an example, that will actually pay half of that amount of miles that you go over. And there are extended coverages that you can purchase in that finance office that will ensure you that if you do have any issues, you go over the miles of the vehicle and that you do have extra wear on the car, that they will cover a certain percentage of that. A lease, let's talk about those two same things. Say you get into an accident in a lease. You do the same thing as you would at a purchase. Call your insurance company, they pay the claim, you pay your deductible, they fix the car. But when you turn it in, the company already guaranteed you a future value for the vehicle. So who's responsible for the extra depreciation? You or the bank? Well, hopefully it didn't say you, because the bank's responsible for that depreciation. It's already factored in to the future value of the vehicle. The second thing is miles. I drive too much for a lease. I can't lease, I drive too much. I understand. But if you go over your 36,000 miles, you're just responsible for the pennies per mile that you go over. Some companies are 10, some companies are 15, some companies are 20 cents per mile. If you do a short, low mileage lease, sometimes it's 25 cents per mile. So every mile that you go over, you have to pay that amount. But based on the protection plan that you get or the company that you're going through, they could absorb some of that extra money. So let's say you do go over it. Say you go over $4,000 worth of it. Well, on a normal lease, if you want to roll that in, no problem. You can roll that extra money into the new lease. Your payment could change anywhere from $28 to $30 a month. So let's bring this lease timeline of 3 years, 36,000 miles over to a purchase. If you trade it in 3 years, most of the time you're going to have a balance remaining. So now what do we have to do as a purchaser? You're going to go to that fun place called the dealership, and you're going to have to go to a couple of them to see who's going to give you the most money for your trade-in. Now they're not going to look at it as, oh, we're going to give you the best value for it. The dealerships are going to be conservative because they need to make some money too. They're the one taking the vehicle off your hands. They're going to recondition the vehicle. They're going to warranty the vehicle, and they're going to guarantee it. They're going to pay people to do that. So there's a reason why there's a wholesale, a trade-in, and a retail cost. So yes, the dealership's going to buy it for little. They're going to invest some money. They're going to warranty the car. They're going to guarantee the car. They got to clean it, get it ready, and advertise for the vehicle. And sometimes they'll stay on their lot for anywhere from 30 to 60 days. But hopefully your vehicle sells faster. Then you have to worry about the balance. Who's going to give you the most money for it? Then you're going to trade the car in, and what are you going to do with this balance? Well, you're going to roll that balance into the next one. You're going to pay a higher interest rate on that balance as well, unless you put a lot of your hard-earned money down. Leasing, I don't recommend you putting any money down. If you total the vehicle out, it's the bank's loss. There's gap insurance on every single lease. The second thing is you won't get that money back. You put $5,000 down on a lease, you total the vehicle, God forbid, are you going to get your money back? No, you're not going to receive your money back. The bank's going to keep it, the insurance is going to pay for the rest, and you're out your money. A lease is a pay now or pay later, depending on how much you want to put down. For an example, if you took an average lease payment for 36 months on a $35,000 vehicle, I'm just going to say it's roughly right around $380 a month. Let's just use this as an example. If you took $380 a month times 36 payments, you're going to get an amount. Not that good with math, so I'll just put a dollar amount right here. If you put $5,000 down on the lease, the payment's going to go down. Let's just say it'd be $280 a month. So if you took $280 times 36, you're going to get a separate dollar amount. But add that $5,000 you put down to that dollar amount, it's going to be very close to the higher payment. So you either pay now or you pay later, within a couple dollars. It's not going to be that big of a difference. So my recommendation to you, as a consumer that works hard for their money, don't put any money down. Take the higher payment. Why pay for it up front when you can just pay it in the monthly payment? It's my advice. You don't have to go by it. So here's a couple things that we talked about earlier I'm going to touch back on. Turning in, buying, or trading in. And it's all based on this future value of the car. If you go to turn the vehicle in, and say the vehicle's worth $22,000. Say you didn't drive as much as you thought you did, and the vehicle's worth more. Say you were on vacation for 2 or 3 months, let's hope you're in the Caribbean or something like that, and you didn't drive the vehicle. Now your miles are off, which is a good thing. And your vehicle's worth more than they projected. Well, if you really want the car, you can buy the car at the lesser amount. So now you're buying a car at wholesale, like they would at an auction. You're putting yourself in a better financial position. The second thing you can do, in this case, where the vehicle's worth more than they guaranteed, is you can have the dealership buy it for what the value is. They don't have to go to an auction. They don't have to worry about advertising for a vehicle to find a vehicle. It's already at their doorstep. It's under market value. If it's worth $22, the dealership most likely would pay $22 for it. And the difference of the money, the profit, goes to you. You can either have a check cut back to you, you can roll it into your next lease. Let's go on the flip side of things. Let's say, for an example, you got into an accident and you went over your miles and the vehicle's worth $17,000. Well, you don't want to buy it because you could buy it, you'd have to buy it for $19,000. If it's worth $17,000, not a good investment. Hopefully everyone's on there. Turn the car in and you walk away. You're not responsible for that extra depreciation and value. So I'm not saying buying's bad, but if you look at financially, what's the best thing for your money? I would always go toward a lease. You don't own it. Great, that's the best part about it. You don't want to buy a depreciating asset. You want to buy things you're going to get your money back. When you sell it, you make money. I'm pretty sure if you know anybody who's in the accounting business, and if you say you had millions of dollars, they're not going to tell you to go out and buy a $500,000 Lamborghini. They're going to tell you to lease the Lamborghini. Because you can take that $500,000 and invest it, and you can make those payments with the interest. But we're not all millionaires, so let's use our money smart. Let's use our money wisely. So you make the call. You can purchase a vehicle if that's what you're comfortable with. I have no gripe about it. My job on this video is just to show you the options that you have. I know it's all mumble jumbo and it's all crunched in together, but the point of a lease is you don't own it. You don't want to own a lease. You don't want to own a car. Been in the business for over 20 years. I have never, ever seen a customer buy a brand new vehicle, drive it for 3 years, turn it in, and make money. Because it doesn't happen. So my advice to you as a consumer is to put your money into a lease where you're not investing into a depreciating asset. Well, thanks for joining me in the video. Hopefully I didn't screw up too much. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comment screen and I'll do the best I can to answer them. Thank you. Have a great day.